From the moment you're born, you have the propensity to learn. You learn with the intention to adapt. You come across something new, you analyze what would be the best way of responding to this event. And after a few failures and so, depending on the context, you end up adapting to something that was fairly new. How? Well, we all know this. This is the process of learning. This is the catalyst. This adaptation that I'm talking about, it's a subconscious process. So we're not aware that we're engaging in it until unless we become aware of it. We have a desire to learn. It is inborn. Somewhere deep down, we always crave to be a better version of ourselves. And perhaps when we're not able to do so, we feel insufficient. Piaget, a developmental psychologist, theorized cognitive development. According to him, two processes, assimilation and accommodation, are a requisite for learning. Assimilation refers to modifying our environment in order to fit in a new information with an already existing information in our minds. Learning a new language by using the language that you already know is an example of assimilation. Accommodation, on the other hand, is more of a radical shift on a pre-existing knowledge. It requires us to make a modification in our minds in order to fit in the new information. For instance, imagine moving out of your parents' home and learning to live by yourself. Herein, the knowledge of how to live alone deals with accommodation. Throughout our lives, we're engaging in these two processes in order to develop a connection between the external world and our minds. How to live amid a pandemic? More to do with assimilation or accommodation? Well, a little to do with both, but primarily accommodating the meaning of a pandemic in our minds. It is the first time all of us are experiencing something globally pivotal, and it has caught all of us off guard. Being out and about was so easy before this. These restrictions that are being imposed on us are definitely frustrating. Many of us right now are desperate to move out of the spaces that we're confined in, and I certainly am one of those people. But here comes the interesting part. For a while now, I've been exploring what Seneca has left for us. And like so many of us out there, I started reading about Stoicism last year. And since the day I finished my first book associated with Stoicism, guess which one this is? It's not that hard. It was Meditations. Well, in my defense, there is a charm about it, no matter how cliche it is. But pardon me for digressing. Since the day I kept it away, well, not away, I keep going back to it time and again. But anyway, since the day I finished reading it to now, I have been more than just inquisitive about this school of thought. The Stoics essentially questioned pleasure. They believed that indulgence is, in fact, superfluous. And one such source of pleasure, according to Seneca, was traveling. And that's something I've been meaning to talk about. More than this being about us finding a silver lining in a pandemic, this has more to do with us seizing the opportunity and taking the leap of faith. Seneca viewed traveling as a means of escaping from one's reality. This isn't surprising, is it? He thought of traveling as a defense mechanism that people use to pacify themselves, transiently so. For the lost, for the wanderers, for the pleasure seekers of travel, the void inside prevails. When we seek something in our lives as an element that would get our minds off of certain things for a bit, it is more associated with escapism than it is with confrontation. I don't think any of us finds this bewildering or baffling. The Stoics, well, they lived in a certain way, didn't they? But there is something that is here for us. A statement by him that I found exceptionally powerful was, and if you wonder why all this running away cannot help you, well, the answer is simply this: you're running away from your own company. That's something, isn't it? Traveling brings inspiration. It is a wonderful thing that you engage in to expand your horizon, to find answers. However, if you think that it is something that's going to stop the storm in your mind, it's not. There was some truth in what he stated. It might calm the storm in your mind for a bit, may also shut it off for a bit. But sooner or later, you'll have to engage in decluttering. You'll have to clean the mess that it leaves. See, the thing about being unaware about our shortcomings is that it leaves us in this passive state in our own lives. This is the state where the good or the bad, it just happens to us. It's like being an observer of your own life, when you aren't meant to be the observer. You, in fact, are the anarchic plot twister, man. Discomfort is not a pleasurable state to be in, I agree. But it is an inescapable patch on the path to peace. After using innumerable band-aids myself, I've come to realize what a hoax they actually are. Sometimes you just have to break to reconstruct. It is painful. But this void crisis that all of us are in the middle of, pleasure is not what we're deeply longing for. In one of my really fruitful conversations with a friend of mine, we were talking about how we perceive healing, you know? It is this journey where you go through shit to be finally able to conquer it and reach that one destination of utter bliss, from where on no problem knocks at your door ever again. But well, healing is anything but that. Took me many years of my own to realize that. But in this conversation, she said something really beautiful that can be a cue for all of us in order to check if you're getting better. You know you're healing when your narrative shifts from why is all this happening to me to let's understand how this happened to me. How is what's truly going to help you understand what's happening and how to heal through it. Imagine having a gigantic wardrobe in your house. This is highly sentimental to you because it has been passed on to you by the people of your family who came before you. However, it's in a dilapidated condition now. So you can't really use it to fulfill the purpose of a wardrobe. And it's pretty huge, so you can't even ignore it in your home. Your belongings that actually belong inside it are in fact a mess outside. This wardrobe really irritates you, but you can't do anything about it because you can't imagine letting it go. Every new house that you move in, it comes with you. No matter how big your next house is, no matter how many new wardrobes you buy, it still is a liability to you. It's like giving this huge space to something that no longer serves a purpose. What's the solution? Getting rid of it, right? But how can you? So many years with this, it's a part of you now. And there was actually a time when it served the purpose of a wardrobe and you have wonderful memories associated with it. Can you let it go now? Well, if you ask me, you definitely can, but will you? Should you? Do you have the courage to let go of everything that you knew and start to learn who you truly are? Again. Well, not again, perhaps for the first time ever. Because everything that has happened to you before this has, in a way, happened to you. Wouldn't it be great if you finally start playing the part that you were always meant to in your life? Being confined to one space, it's restrictive, but you can still travel. You can still explore. There's definitely a space that you can still visit. You know what I mean? Whatever that we're going through right now. I know we all think that one weekend getaway to the mountains or to the beach is going to, dare I say, fix us. Well, it's not. None of that will. You know what I find absolutely astonishing? Everything that you're looking for is actually just right inside you.